I'm going to weigh in this morning about the new information that I've gotten about Tiffany and Common's breakup. And I think it's important, since this recently came to light, to sort of get a better understanding of the dynamic that existed between the two. Let me let you know, I admire Tiffany Haddish. I respect her. She's just a phenomenal asset to Hollywood. Not only that, she brings with her the story of the child in America who has had to make their own path, who's been given very little. Let me tell you, I'm not grabbing my ideas or forming my opinions from the headlines and the tabloids and the sound bites. I have a deeper understanding of who Tiffany Haddish is because, well, not only have I read her memoir and, got more insight that way, but I lost my own housing. I lost my own housing after I was an adult. I had taught for well over 20 years. And when our district laid off 4,000 of us one year, I ended up sleeping in my car. And I began to see how many youth there are who are on the streets, or adults who have aged out of foster care and are just on their own because they didn't get the nurturing that they needed during their formative years. So I just want this to be a fact-based. I don't want you to think that I'm just grabbing things, or I'm just trying to rehash stories for the sake of, rehashing stories and getting, views or whatever. This is important. What I'm saying today is important. Our foster care children are, for the most part, neglected, highly neglected. They aren't prioritized. And it is a miracle when someone like Tiffany Haddish, and I can't think of anyone else at the top of my head, but there are a few who have broken through, but they are exceptions. They are exceptions. You have youth who, despite their families losing their housing while they were in high school, for example, who have become valedictorians, whose grades allowed them to enter prestigious schools. So there are exceptions, but they are few and far between, and Tiffany Haddish is one of those exceptions. So when I recently found out that Tiffany had announced her intention to adopt, and that Common sort of began to pull away. He, after that, didn't invite her to their family's Thanksgiving dinner, for example. That was one red flag. I can't remember all the others, but look, if you understand the need and the power of adoption, and especially the need, and you are committed to doing that, and your partner isn't, run. Because that is one thing that partners need to agree on in no uncertain terms. And many people prioritize children and adopting children and understand the need for adoption. And of course, that is a priority for Tiffany Haddish. So for Common not to be on board with that is a clear indicator that they needed to part ways. Now, many single women have adopted. Many single people have adopted children. But if she has to get with a partner, I just pray that it's someone that is on board with her and understands the necessity of nurturing foster children. America's ignoring them as a whole, and I mean, you don't hear about the problem in the mainstream media. It's not discussed anywhere. I bring it up all the time because I've witnessed it. I, as a former teacher, wanted, put together programs. People look at me like, this sort of vagueness that they don't understand. There needs to be clarity that, yes, it is a crisis. But I don't want to get into the crisis so much. I just want to let it be known that Tiffany's not just saying, oh, I want to adopt. I'm thinking, I know that she has an understanding and a passion for adopting a child, and that she would make a wonderful parent because she understands the hardships and the way in which a child needs to be nurtured that has been in foster care. So, and she wants to adopt an older child so that she can have some impact on their formative years, like 10, And this is well thought out. This is not something she thought about overnight. So, I just wanted to bring that to light because I think it's important. And I think it's important for anyone. Anyone can learn from that in selecting a partner, don't assume that they want to adopt or that they share your values. It's so important. So that's what I want to talk about today on Let's Talk. Look, I talk about a lot of things having to do with housing vulnerability, housing insecurity, the struggles of living on the streets off the grid, because that's what happened to me after I lost my housing, after having taught for well over 20 years. And I wouldn't change it for the world because it's given me so much insight, and I'm trying to share that insight with those who listen to me. So if you want to like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. If you think this message needs to go out to more, hitting the like button will ensure that happens. This has been Let's Talk, and I'll talk to you soon.